Conscious Astrology, Planets in Pushya Nakshatra in Cancer. Hi, and welcome to the Consciousness Podcast, where we explore ways to empower the human personality by combining neuroscience and astrology. In this episode, we continue our journey into conscious astrology, focusing on how to balance the dynamic interplay between cosmic energies and personal growth to better understand and harness the unique energies of the 27 lunar mansions. Today, we delve into Pushya Nakshatra, deeply rooted in the nurturing and intuitive energy of Cancer, exploring its polarizing principles and strategies for conscious balance to restore holistic well-being. Overview of Pushya Nakshatra. Pushya Nakshatra, ruled by Saturn and symbolized by a flower or cow's udder, represents nourishment, growth, and unconditional support. When placed in Cancer, governed by the moon, Pushya merges Saturn's discipline with Cancer's nurturing qualities, fostering traits of emotional security, selfless care, and stability. However, its polarizing principles can manifest as overdependence, emotional rigidity, or difficulty setting boundaries. By applying conscious balance strategies, Pushya natives can align their nurturing energy with emotional independence and purposeful action. Planetary energies and strategies for conscious balance. Sun in Pushya polarizing principle, overbearing responsibility versus illuminating leadership. Conscious balance, use the sun's energy to lead with clarity and purpose, emphasizing collective well-being over control. Balance personal ambitions with acts of selfless leadership, fostering shared success. Moon in Pushya, polarizing principle, emotional overextension versus nurturing stability. Conscious balance, practice self-care, and set healthy emotional boundaries to balance giving with personal replenishment. Channel nurturing energy into fostering supportive relationships and personal growth. Mars in Pushya, polarizing principle, aggression versus protective action. Conscious balance, use Mars's drive to protect and nurture loved ones without becoming overly controlling. Align action with Cancer's nurturing essence to ensure constructive and meaningful pursuits. Mercury in Pushya, polarizing principle, overthinking versus intuitive communication. Conscious balance, blend Mercury's analytical clarity with Cancer's intuitive insight to express thoughts compassionately. Engage in empathetic dialogue and creative writing to channel mental energy into positive outcomes. Jupiter in Pushya, polarizing principle, over idealism versus grounded wisdom. Conscious balance, align Jupiter's expansive vision with Saturn's disciplined approach to nurture sustainable growth. Share wisdom through teaching or mentoring, balancing inspiration with practicality. Venus in Pushya, polarizing principle, emotional dependency versus meaningful connection. Conscious balance, cultivate authentic relationships by balancing emotional support with independence and mutual respect. Channel Venus's love for beauty into nurturing creative and harmonious environments. Saturn in Pushya, polarizing principle, rigid discipline versus structured growth. Conscious balance, use Saturn's discipline to create routines that foster emotional security and purposeful action. Balance stability with flexibility to allow for emotional exploration and personal evolution. Polarizing principle, obsessive nurturing versus inspired innovation. Conscious balance, ground Rahu's intense energy in Saturn's structure, ensuring nurturing efforts lead to meaningful growth. Use Rahu's unconventional energy to innovate in caregiving, spiritual practices, or community service. Ketu in Pushya, polarizing principle, detached support versus spiritual nourishment. Conscious balance, channel Ketu's introspective nature into spiritual practices that align with personal and collective nourishment. Balance introspection with compassionate action to harmonize inner clarity with external impact. Conscious integration for Pushya Nakshatra in Cancer, balancing nurturing and independence. Align Pushya's selfless care with Saturn's structure to foster emotional resilience and independence. Harmonizing stability with flexibility, use Saturn's discipline and Cancer's adaptability to nurture sustainable growth and navigate change gracefully. Embracing growth with compassion. Channel Pushya's nurturing energy into meaningful relationships and supportive communities, fostering collective well-being. Fostering emotional and spiritual security. Combine Cancer's intuitive depth with Saturn's grounding influence to build a secure foundation for personal and emotional growth. Closing thoughts. Pushya Nakshatra in Cancer embodies the essence of unconditional nourishment and emotional stability, offering the potential for profound growth and harmonious relationships. By addressing its polarizing principles with conscious balance strategies, individuals can channel its gifts into personal evolution, compassionate leadership, and holistic well-being. This alignment unlocks Pushya's highest potential as a force for nurturing resilience, wisdom, and emotional security. Thank you for joining us on the Consciousness Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into conscious astrology and its transformative applications. Until next time, stay attuned to the cosmos and live consciously. Conscious Astrology, planets in Anuradha Nakshatra in Scorpio. Hi, and welcome to the Consciousness Podcast, where we explore ways to empower the human personality by combining neuroscience and astrology. In this episode, we continue our journey into conscious astrology, focusing on how to balance the dynamic interplay between cosmic energies and personal growth to better understand and harness the unique energies of the 27 lunar mansions. Today, we delve into Anuradha Nakshatra, radiating with the transformative and intense energy of Scorpio, exploring its polarizing principles and strategies for conscious balance to restore holistic well-being. Overview of Anuradha Nakshatra. Anuradha Nakshatra, governed by Saturn and symbolized by a lotus flower, represents devotion, resilience, and the ability to thrive through challenges. Anchored in Scorpio, ruled by Mars and Ketu, Anuradha merges Saturn's discipline with Scorpio's emotional depth and transformative power, fostering traits of loyalty, determination, and spiritual growth. However, its polarizing principles can manifest as emotional isolation, mistrust, or a tendency to suppress vulnerability. By applying conscious balance strategies, Anuradha natives can align their devotion and resilience with empathy, openness, and purpose-driven action for holistic growth. Planetary energies and strategies for conscious balance. Sun in Anuradha, polarizing principle, overbearing authority versus inspirational leadership. Conscious balance, lead with humility and integrity, using Scorpio's emotional insight to inspire and uplift others. Foster collaboration and inclusivity, recognizing the importance of shared efforts and perspectives. Moon in Anuradha, polarizing principle, emotional isolation versus emotional nurturing. Conscious balance, channel emotional depth into building supportive and nurturing relationships. Practice vulnerability and active listening to strengthen trust and foster emotional resilience. Mars in Anuradha, polarizing principle, intense aggression versus focused strength. Conscious balance. Direct Mars's energy into constructive pursuits such as problem solving, physical activities, or leadership roles. Balance assertiveness with patience, ensuring actions remain thoughtful and purpose-driven. Polarizing principle, argumentative speech versus insightful communication. Conscious balance. Use Mercury's intellect to communicate with empathy and clarity, fostering understanding and trust. Engage in reflective dialogue that deepens connections and encourages meaningful conversations. Jupiter in Anuradha, over-idealism versus grounded wisdom. Conscious balance. Align Jupiter's expansive vision with Saturn's practical approach to create realistic and impactful goals. Mentor others with a balance of inspiration and grounded advice, fostering spiritual and intellectual growth. Venus in Anuradha, polarizing principle, emotional dependency versus meaningful connection. Conscious balance, channel Venus's desire for connection into nurturing, balanced, and supportive relationships. Balance personal needs with mutual respect and emotional independence to foster lasting connections. Saturn in Anuradha, polarizing principle, rigid isolation versus structured growth. Conscious balance. Use Saturn's discipline to establish routines that support emotional healing and resilience. Balance structure with emotional flexibility, allowing for growth and adaptation within relationships and personal goals. Rahu in Anuradha, polarizing principle, obsessive control versus inspired innovation. Conscious balance. Ground Rahu's intense drive in Scorpio's introspective nature, ensuring pursuits align with ethical and spiritual values. Use Rahu's unconventional energy to innovate in emotional healing, leadership, or creative projects, maintaining focus on meaningful contributions. Hack Ketu in Anuradha, polarizing principle, detached isolation versus spiritual connection. Conscious balance, channel Ketu's introspective nature into practices that enhance self-awareness and spiritual growth. Balance detachment with active engagement in meaningful relationships and projects, fostering compassion and purpose. Conscious integration for Anuradha Nakshatra in Scorpio. Balancing devotion with boundaries? Use Anuradha's loyalty to foster deep connections while maintaining healthy emotional boundaries. Harmonizing resilience with vulnerability. Align Saturn's discipline with Scorpio's emotional intensity to embrace vulnerability as a strength. Embracing leadership with compassion. Combine Anuradha's natural leadership with empathy, fostering trust and collaboration in relationships and endeavors. Fostering emotional and spiritual growth. Use Anuradha's transformative qualities to cultivate resilience, spiritual awareness, and meaningful change in both personal and collective spheres. Closing thoughts. Anuradha Nakshatra in Scorpio embodies the essence of resilience, devotion, and transformation, offering the potential for deep spiritual growth, meaningful relationships, and impactful leadership. By addressing its polarizing principles with conscious balance strategies, individuals can channel its energy into personal empowerment, harmonious connections, and holistic well-being. This alignment unlocks Anuradha's highest potential as a force for loyalty, emotional healing, and spiritual evolution. Thank you for joining us on the Consciousness Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into conscious astrology and its transformative applications. Until next time, stay attuned to the cosmos and live consciously. Conscious Astrology, planets in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra in Pisces. Hi, and welcome to the Consciousness Podcast, where we explore ways to empower the human personality by combining neuroscience and astrology. In this episode, we continue our journey into conscious astrology, focusing on how to balance the dynamic interplay between cosmic energies and personal growth to better understand and harness the unique energies of the 27 lunar mansions. Today, we delve into Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, harmonized with the mystical and compassionate energy of Pisces, exploring its polarizing principles and strategies for conscious balance to restore holistic well-being. Overview of Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, ruled by Saturn and symbolized by the back legs of a funeral cot, represents inner depth, spiritual wisdom, and the ability to achieve peace through acceptance and surrender. When placed in Pisces, governed by Jupiter, Uttara Bhadrapada merges Saturn's discipline with Pisces' boundless compassion and creativity, fostering qualities of resilience, introspection, and spiritual fulfillment. However, its polarizing principles can manifest as emotional withdrawal, indecisiveness, or excessive self-sacrifice. By applying conscious balance strategies, Uttara Bhadrapada natives can align their introspective and nurturing energy with purpose, self-worth, and meaningful action for holistic growth. Planetary energies and strategies for conscious balance. Sun and polarizing principle, self-righteousness versus illuminating guidance. Conscious balance. Lead with humility and wisdom, using Pisces' empathy to foster trust and inspire others. Balance personal ambition with service-oriented leadership, creating harmony and mutual respect. Moon in Uttara Bhadrapada. Polarizing principle, emotional overwhelm versus emotional peace. Conscious balance. Channel emotional sensitivity into reflective practices such as meditation and creative expression to cultivate inner peace. Build supportive connections to foster resilience and balance emotional vulnerability with strength. Mars in Uttara polarizing principle, aggressive action versus purposeful drive. Conscious balance. Use Mars's drive to pursue meaningful goals with discipline and patience, aligning with long-term spiritual growth. Balance assertiveness with empathy, ensuring actions are thoughtful and nurturing rather than reactive. Mercury in Uttara Bhadrapada. Polarizing principle, overthinking versus insightful communication. Conscious balance. Use Mercury's intellect to articulate ideas with clarity and empathy, fostering understanding and trust. Channel mental energy into storytelling, reflective writing, or discussions that encourage connection and creativity. Jupiter in Uttara Bhadrapada. Polarizing principle, over-idealism versus grounded wisdom. Conscious balance. Align Jupiter's expansive vision with Saturn's structured approach, ensuring aspirations are practical and achievable. Share insights with humility, encouraging exploration, self-improvement, and collective growth. Venus in Uttara, polarizing principle, emotional dependency versus meaningful connection. Conscious balance. Use Venus's charm and appreciation for harmony to nurture authentic relationships built on mutual respect and emotional trust. Balance emotional vulnerability with independence, fostering deeper connections without losing personal identity. Satirizing principle. Rigid expectations versus purposeful structure. Conscious balance. Use Saturn's discipline to create routines that support spiritual and emotional well-being. Balance responsibility with adaptability, allowing space for creativity, reflection, and personal growth. Rahu in Uttara Bhadrapada. Polarizing principle, obsessive curiosity versus inspired exploration. Conscious balance. Ground Rahu's ambition in Pisces' intuitive wisdom, ensuring pursuits align with ethical values and meaningful outcomes. Use Rahu's unconventional creativity to foster breakthroughs in healing, spiritual practices, or humanitarian efforts. Ketu in Uttara Bhadrapada. Polarizing principle, detached isolation versus spiritual insight. Conscious balance. Channel his introspection into spiritual practices that enhance self-awareness and resilience. Balance detachment with active engagement in projects and relationships that foster connection and collective purpose. Conscious integration for Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra in Pisces. Balancing introspection with purpose. Use Uttara Bhadrapada's introspective nature to foster self-awareness and pursue goals that align with both personal and collective well-being. Harmonizing compassion with boundaries. Align Pisces' empathy with Saturn's discipline to maintain emotional strength and healthy boundaries in relationships. Embracing strength with vulnerability. Combine Uttara Bhadrapada's resilience with emotional intelligence to foster trust and create supportive connections. Fostering emotional and spiritual resilience. Channel Uttara Bhadrapada's energy into practices that nurture wisdom, self-compassion, and meaningful action. Closing thoughts. Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra in Pisces embodies the essence of spiritual wisdom, resilience, and introspection, offering the potential for profound personal growth, healing, and meaningful contributions. By addressing its polarizing principles with conscious balance strategies, individuals can channel its energy into self-discovery, harmonious relationships, and holistic well-being. This alignment unlocks Uttara Bhadrapada's highest potential as a force for spiritual awakening, emotional resilience, and compassionate leadership. Thank you for joining us on the Consciousness Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into conscious astrology and its transformative applications. Until next time, stay attuned to the cosmos and live consciously.